It's like so many of these stories, it sounds like, I was a genius, but it was much more evolutionary than revolutionary, much more organic. I was fascinated by this idea, and it had a profound impact on my own life and my own view of the world. And like anybody, when you read a great book or you see a great movie, you tell your friends to read it or see it. And so I would talk about this thing obsessively because it was like it's like when you find a new song and all you do is listen to that one song.
Oh, I've been there.
It's the same thing. It's just this obsession for this one thing. The difference is it didn't lose steam, and my friends were taking it to heart and were making crazy life changes. Like I had friends quitting jobs and starting businesses once they heard this thing.
Because of a talk you had with them at a bar.
And I figured out how to help people find their why, and my friends would invite me to their homes to share it with their friends. So it all started with me standing in somebody's living room in New York City, with one of those prepared platters that you get at the supermarket with the celery and the carrots, and like one of those in the middle of the room. And I would talk about the thing called the why, and people would ask me to help them find their one. I used to do it for $100 on the side. It was extremely organic. I talked about it everywhere I went. People would tell people about it. People would ask me to come talk about it. And somebody invited me to come give a talk to a bunch of entrepreneurs, and I said yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what happened when you gave that first talk?
Yeah.
Your first real talk?
Yeah.
Were you like, oh my, maybe this shouldn't just be the side gig?
I didn't know that being a speaker was actually a thing, weirdly.
We're talking 2000-ish?
So I started giving these talks in 2006 because it was my own discovery of my own why that really generated the passion for this idea.
And what was your own why?
To inspire people to do what inspires them, so together each of us can change our world for the better, which continues to be my passion and my drive.
And that has not changed?
You only have one why your whole life.
Yeah.
And the opportunity is to live in balance or out of balance with that why.
I see.
It's not created in the middle of your life, it's created early in your life. And if you can figure out what it is, you can choose to make decisions to bring that why to life, and that's what I've done. Probably a year-ish after that. Mm-hmm. It was relatively quickly when I realized I wanted to only spread this message of the why.
Yeah.
Wasn't sure exactly what form it would take, I just knew I wanted to do it. And so managed to back out of my lease. By back out, I meant pay a fine.
Oh my.
I got out of my lease from my office.
Yeah.
And started from scratch because I wanted to. I had this sort of very scientific approach, which is scientific method, which is I had a theory and I wanted to prove the theory, and the best way to prove the theory was to start clean.
Yeah.
And I didn't think I was right. I just thought I had an idea, and I wanted to test it until it would fail, and then I would tweak the idea. And so I kept looking for new opportunities, big companies, small companies, different industries, public companies, private companies, government, military. I just was looking for all the different places that I could try it, waiting for it to fail, and it kept working.
Wow.
So it was really an amazing experience to see this theory just keep working. But I kept the reason, and I was very honest. I was very honest with people. They're like, have you worked in, politics before? I'm like, nope, never done it, but I want to give it a try and see if this works. It may not, but I was always very honest about what my pursuits were.
Yeah.
And people, again, the early adopters said, well, let's give it a try. So everybody went in with open eyes, me and my clients. When you talk about what you believe, people who believe what you believe recommend you or want to introduce you to people.
I see.
And so the more I talked about it, the more somebody would call me and say, hey, this is someone I think you should meet.
Yeah.
And people found me. I don't know, from somebody else.
So you did not seek out, I want to do this for...
No,
okay, yeah.
no. So somebody reached out to me and said, we're doing, they got my name.
Yeah.
And they said, we've heard about you, we've heard your work. We'd like to invite you to do a TEDx talk in Puget Sound in Seattle.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, sounds amazing. TEDx was it was a relatively new thing back then, and it was a big deal. It still had a lot of real sort of gravitas to it, and so I was very excited, and of course said yes to the opportunity. And I never set myself on this course to be a public speaker. It's not really a chosen profession. If I never give another speech again, I'd be fine with that. I do it because I believe in the message, and I think it's important to go and preach that message.
I see.
And what the TED Talk gave me was the opportunity to spread that message at vastly greater scale, much bigger audiences.
Yeah.
And that's been a great honor.